So this is Purnachandra Reddy V. Okay, in the last two lectures we discussed about classification of materials based on energy band diagram and current density in conductors. So in the classification we classified materials into insulators, conductors and semiconductors. So insulators, they doesn't allow any flow of current, whereas conductors allows flow of current, whereas semiconductor allows flow of current as you increase temperature. Okay, so if you clearly observe in the energy band diagram of semiconductor in the last lectures, okay, so at low temperatures or at 0 degree Kelvin, the electrons present in valency band, they can't move to conduction band. Why? Because the temperature is very low, or you can say thermal energy is very low. Okay, when electrons can't move from valency band to the conduction band doesn't have any free electrons. So since conduction band doesn't have any free electrons, the material doesn't allow any flow of current or flow of electric current. So in that way we can say the semiconductors at low temperature or at 0 Kelvin temperature, they act as insulator. Why? Because at low temperatures we don't have any free electrons in conduction band. So so why we are saying it is insulator? Because the conduction band doesn't have any free electrons. So the free electrons present in conduction band are responsible for electric current. In that way we are saying the semiconductors act as insulators at low temperatures. Then what happens when you increase temperature or when you increase thermal energy? Okay, so when you increase temperature, what happens? The electrons present in valency band, they are in covalent bonding. When you increase temperature, the covalent bond breaks in valency band. Okay, the electrons becomes free. These free electrons, they move into conduction band as you increase temperature. So when electron is moving from valency band to the conduction band, so it creates some space in valency band. The empty space is known as hole. Okay, so when it comes to conductors and semiconductors, in conductors we don't have any holes. Okay, so that's why the current flow in conductors is due to only electrons. When it comes to semiconductors, the current flow is due to both holes and electrons. So moreover, if you apply some electric field or some external voltage to the semiconductors, what happens? The flow of electrons is opposite to the direction of flow of holes. Okay. Moreover, the flow of electrons is opposite to the direction of applied electric field. Whereas holes move in the direction of applied electric field, electrons move in the direction opposite to the applied electric field. So from this we can clearly say the moment of electrons and the moment of holes are opposite to each other. So in the direction of holes are in the direction of electrons, because of moment of holes and electrons there will be flow of current. So the current due to holes is called as hole current. The current due to electrons is called as electron current. Okay. So now to get the current density in semiconductors, what we have to do? We have to use current density in conductors. So already we know how to derive current density in conductors. How to derive current density in conductors? We know J is equal to I by A. What is J? Current density. I is equal to current flowing. A is the area of cross section. And there by using capital I is equal to Q by T, and time T is equal to L by Vd. What is L? Length of the conductor. Vd is the velocity of the electrons. Okay, so there by using those Vd and T, we get finally J is equal to sigma times C, where sigma is the conductivity of the material, E is the applied electric field, J is the current density. Okay, there it is due to only electrons, we say sigma is equal to NQ mu. where N is the electron concentration, Q is the charge of the electron, and mu is the mobility of electron. Okay, when it comes to current density in semiconductors, here we are having current density due to electrons and current density due to holes. So already I explained clearly, when you apply temperature, the electrons in valency band, they move to conduction band. So in conduction band we are having free electrons, in valency band we are having holes. When hole created when electron moves from valency band to the conduction band. So that's why in semiconductors the current flow is due to both electrons and holes. So that's why the current density in semiconductor is J is equal to J suffix small n plus J suffix small p. Jn is the current density due to electrons in semiconductor. Jp is the current density due to holes in the semiconductor. Okay. So already we know what is J is equal to NQ mu into E. That is nothing but sigma times E. So when it comes to current density in conductors, Jn. So what is Jn? There already we know NQ mu into E. Here it becomes NQ mu n into E. What is small n? Electron concentration. What is Q? Charge of electron. What is mu n? There it is only mu. Here mu n means nothing but mobility of electrons. Where capital E is the applied electric field applied on semiconductor. Next we will see what is Jp. Jp is the current density due to holes in the semiconductor. By using current density expression, there we know already NQ mu into E in for conductors. So now for Jp it is PQ mu P into E, where P is the hole concentration, Q is the charge of the hole. So here if you observe one thing like charge for electron and hole, both are same only. So charge of electron is equal to charge of hole, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Okay, here don't worry about polarity. Polarity also matches like the electron flow is opposite to the applied electric field. That's why that is negative. Already charge units are negative, that becomes positive. Okay, so here Jn and Jp, so one belongs to electron, other one belongs to hole. So here Jn we are having electron concentration and mobility of electrons. In Jp we are having hole concentration and mobility of holes. For both for Jn and Jp, the common thing is like applied electric field and charge. So if you put these two things in J, so Jn is NQ mu n into E. Already I explained clearly. N is the electron concentration, Q is the charge of electron, mu n mobility of electron, E is the applied electric field, applied electric field on semiconductor. Okay, so Jp already we know that is P times Q times mu P into E. P is hole concentration, Q is charge of hole, mu P is mobility of hole, E is applied electric field. If you observe clearly, the mobility of holes is different from mobility of electrons. Okay. So now what are the units for the current density? You know already. Current density units are ampere per meter square. So what are the units for the electric field? Volt per meter. What are the units for the charge? Coulombs. Okay. What are the units for the hole concentration or electron concentration? Per centimeter cube or per meter cube. Okay. So now if you put these two things in current density J is equal to Jn plus Jp. So here Jn is equal to NQ mu n into E. Jp is equal to PQ mu P into E. So what is NQ mu n? NQ mu n represents conductivity due to electrons. So already we know NQ mu is conductivity, PQ mu is NQ mu is conductivity of electrons. So here specifically we can call it as NQ mu n. Why? Because that is due to conductivity due to electrons. PQ mu P is nothing but conductivity due to holes. Okay. So if you observe for conductors, we don't have any holes. That's why there we don't have any conductivity due to holes. But when it comes to semiconductors, we are having conductivity due to holes and conductivity due to electrons. NQ mu n is conductivity due to electrons, PQ mu p is conductivity due to holes. So if you substitute in J becomes n into mu n plus p into mu p into q times c. You can simply write J is equal to sigma n plus sigma p times E. So why? Because sigma n is the conductivity of conductivity due to electrons. Sigma p is conductivity due to holes. Okay. So J becomes sigma times E. Sigma is equal to sigma n plus sigma p. Okay. So this is about current density in semiconductors. Okay. So it means in this topic also you may get some simple problems based on calculating current density in semiconductors. So how means if you get some problem in the problems related to current density are like they'll give hole concentration, they'll give electron concentration, and in problem they will also give mobility of electrons and mobility of holes, and also they'll give some applied electric field on semiconductors, and they may ask you to find out what is the current density of the semiconductor. So at that time you can use this formula J is equal to n mu n plus p mu p into q times c, where q already charge, that is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So you may expect one more kind, that is like finding out conductivity. So they for conductivity what you have to do, you have to use sigma is equal to nq mu n plus pq mu p. Okay. So this is about current density in semiconductors. Okay. So in last two lectures and in this lecture what we discussed in the first lecture we discussed about classification of materials based on energy band diagram. So if you observe already in the first lecture I clearly discussed about the energy band diagram. Energy band diagram consists of three things. First one, valency band, conduction band, and forbidden gap or energy band gap. So the forbidden gap or energy band gap, it is the gap between valency band and conduction band. So what is valency band? Valency band consists of valence electrons or the outermost electrons of an atom. So what about conduction band? Conduction band consists of free electrons. So these free electrons are responsible for electric current in any material. Okay, the classification mainly focuses on forbidden gap. Based on forbidden gap, we classified material into insulators, conductors, and semiconductors. For insulators, the energy band gap is very large. When it comes to conductors, we don't have any energy band gap or forbidden gap. Why? So you can also clearly observe both valency band and conduction band, they overlap with each other. So when it comes to semiconductors, the energy band gap or forbidden gap is very small, in the order of 1 electron volts. So if you compare these three things, in insulators, even if you apply some external temperature or external thermal energy, the electrons present in valency band they can't move to conduction band. Why? Because the energy band gap is very large for insulators. Whereas in conductors, already conduction band and valency band they overlap with each other. That's why the conduction band is having free electrons. These free electrons they allows flow of electric current through conductors. When it comes to semiconductors, at low temperatures, the electrons present in valency band they can't move to conduction band. That's why at low temperatures the semiconductor acts as insulator. But as increased temperature, the electrons present in valency band they move from valency band to the conduction band. As increased temperature more and more electrons they move from valency band to the conduction band. So once electrons move into conduction band, they becomes free electrons. Those free electrons allows improves conductivity of the material. Once conductivity increases, the electric flow of electric current also increases. Okay, so this is about classification of materials based on energy band diagram in the first lecture. Second lecture we discussed about current density in conductors. So by using definition of conductor, we derive current density in conductors. So in conductors, the current flow is due to mainly because of electrons only. So there, if you by considering simple conductor whose length is capital L and area of cross section capital A, and so I told you already the current flow is due to only electrons. The conductor is having capital N number of electrons, and we define current density as current per unit area, and by using current I is equal to Q by T and T is equal to L by Vd. L is the length of the conductor, Vd is the velocity of electrons, where Vd is equal to mu times E. Mu is the mobility of electrons, E is the applied electric field on conductor. By using all these expressions, finally we arrived at J is equal to NQ mu times capital E. Okay, where NQ mu is the conductivity sigma. So that's why finally we arrived at J is equal to sigma times E. J is current density of the conductor, sigma is the conductivity, E is the applied electric field. So once you know conductivity, you can easily find resistivity, rho is equal to 1 by sigma. Okay, so that's about lecture 2, that is current density in conductors. So in the last lecture, we discussed about current density in semiconductors. So here in semiconductors, the current flow is due to both holes and electrons. That's why current density J is equal to Jn times Jn plus Jp. Jn is the current density due to electrons. Jp is the current density due to holes. So Jn is equal to Nq mu n times E. N is the electron concentration, mu n is the mobility of electrons. So Jp is the Pq times mu p into E. P is the hole concentration, mu p is the mobility of electrons. By using these two expressions, we arrived at J is equal to Nq mu n E into E plus Pq mu p into E. So finally J becomes sigma times E, where sigma is equal to Nq mu n plus Pq mu p. So that is current density in semiconductors. Okay, so I hope everyone, by this time everybody clearly understood about these three topics. That is classification, second one is current density in conductors, third one is current density in semiconductors. Thank you very much.